My boyfriend humiliated me in front of his entire friend group, laughing at me, mocking my looks, and dumping me like I was nothing. I walked away heartbroken, convinced I'd never recover. But life had other plans. Months later, after I rebuilt myself and found something better, he came crawling back. Too bad for him. I wasn't the same girl anymore, and he was about to learn that the hard way. Should have known something was off when Nick started acting different. It wasn't sudden, not some dramatic shift overnight, but little things. The way he'd take longer to text back, how his eyes glazed over when I talked, the fact that he always seemed bored with me. We'd been together for almost 2 years, and while I wasn't naive enough to expect the honeymoon phase to last forever, this felt like something worse. Like a slow creeping rot that I couldn't pinpoint, but could definitely feel. But of course, I ignored it. I told myself he was just stressed. Work had been kicking his ass, and his friends were pulling him in a million different directions. So when he suggested a double date with his best friend, Tyler, and his girlfriend, I jumped at the chance. Maybe all we needed was a night out, something fun to remind us why we worked in the first place. Spoiler alert. It did not work. We met at a bar downtown, one of those overpriced, dimly lit places that smelled like expensive cologne and regret. Tyler and his girlfriend, Rachel, were already there when we arrived, sipping on cocktails like they were in some rom-com montage. And then there were Nick's other friends. I wasn't expecting them, at all. Instead of a cozy double date, I found myself at a table with 7 of Nick's loudest, most obnoxious guy friends, all of whom barely acknowledged me beyond a half-hearted nod. The second we sat down, they were already tossing back shots and yelling over each other. Nick fit right in. I spent the first half hour trying to be a good sport, smiling, nodding, pretending I found their terrible jokes funny. But then the conversation turned, and suddenly, I was the joke. Tyler started it. Damn, Nick, you really locked it down, huh? I remember when you used to have standards. It was meant to be a joke, a bad one. But instead of shutting it down, Nick laughed. Hard. Like Tyler had just said the funniest thing in the world, and that opened the floodgates. Oh yeah, another guy, Greg, chimed in. Remember when he used to pull? Now look at him domesticated. I laughed, assuming Nick would roll his eyes or I don't know, defend me. But nope, he just smirked. Yeah, y'all are just mad. I actually got a girl who's loyal, he said, like it was some grand favor had done for me. Not my fault, y'all can't keep a chick for more than a week. And then Rachel, sweet and oblivious, decided to add her 2 cents. I think it's sweet, she said, all smiles. She's not like those Instagram models you used to date. She's real. Like I was some consolation prize. Like Nick had downgraded, but hey, at least I was real. The worst part? No one thought this was weird. They just kept laughing, joking, teasing. And Nick? He let them. Hell, he joined in. I don't even remember the next thing that was said, only that it was enough to make my stomach twist, enough to make me push my chair back and stand up. Nick barely looked up. Where you going? I grabbed my bag, my throat tight. Home. He had the audacity to look annoyed. Oh, come on. But I was already walking away. And he didn't even follow me. I walked out of that bar with my head high, but the second I hit the cold night air, my hands started shaking. My heart was racing, my stomach twisted so tight, I thought I might actually throw up. What the hell just happened? I replayed it in my head over and over, but no matter how I twisted it, the reality was the same. Nick had let them humiliate me. He had sat there laughing along like it was all just some dumb joke. And the worst part? No one had even acted like it was weird. I should have gone straight home, but instead I found myself standing on the curb, scrolling through my messages. I needed to talk to someone who'd understand, who'd tell me I wasn't being dramatic. So I called Kara. Kara had been my best friend since college. She was the kind of girl who didn't sugarcoat things, who told it to you straight even when it hurt. The second she picked up, I knew I had made the right call. Dude, what the hell? That was the first thing out of her mouth after I finished explaining. Are you serious? And he just sat there? He laughed, I said, my voice raw. Like it was funny. There was a long pause. Then, you know what this means, right? I swallowed. Kara, dump him. I rubbed my temples. It's not that simple. The hell it isn't, she shot back. He let his friends talk about you like that, like you're some charity case. If Nathan was her boyfriend of 3 years, and yeah, had never let something like this slide. I sighed. I don't know. Maybe I'm overreacting? Girl, her voice was deadly serious. Don't do that. Don't minimize this. You know this isn't okay. I knew she was right. But I also knew Nick. This wasn't like him, or at least it wasn't like the version of him I fell for. He could be an ass sometimes, sure, but he wasn't cruel. Maybe he was drunk. Maybe he'd apologize tomorrow, say he didn't realize how bad it was, promise it would never happen again. Maybe. You'll talk to him, I said finally, face to face. Kara sighed. Fine. But I swear, if he gaslights you, I know. I took a deep breath. He'll call you after. I didn't sleep that night. I told myself I'd wait until the next morning to confront him, but my resolve crumbled around midnight. I sent him a text, "Can we talk?" And when he didn't answer, I did something stupid. I went to his apartment. It wasn't the first time I'd shown up unannounced. He had given me a spare key months ago, said his place was mine too, that I never needed permission to come over. But as soon as I stepped inside, I knew something was wrong. The lights were off, but there was noise, voices, laughter, and then I heard her. A girl. I stood there frozen as the pieces clicked together. I should have left. I should have walked right back out that door and saved myself the heartbreak. But I didn't. Instead, I stepped forward, just enough to see into the living room. Nick was sprawled out on the couch, drink in hand, looking way too comfortable for someone who had just humiliated his girlfriend hours earlier. And next to him, practically on him, was a girl I didn't recognize. She was laughing at something he said, her body angled toward him, her hand on his thigh. And Nick? Nick wasn't stopping her. The rage hit me all at once. Are you serious? My voice came out sharp, too loud in the quiet space. Nick's head snapped up, his eyes widening like he couldn't believe I was actually standing there. Babe, he started, standing up way too slowly for my liking. Don't. My voice shook. Don't call me that. The girl beside him looked between us, eyes flickering with amusement, like this was some kind of joke. Nick ran a hand through his hair. What are you even doing here? I texted you, I snapped. And you ignored me. Guess I know why now. He exhaled through his nose, like I was annoying him. It's not what it looks like. I let out a bitter laugh. Oh, so you didn't just spend the night trashing me with your friends and then bring some random girl over? The girl smirked. Damn, she's feisty. Nick shot her a look, but I didn't even care. This? I gestured between them. This is who you are now, Nick sighed. You're overreacting, and that was what broke me. Not the jokes at the bar. Not the way he let his friends mock me. Not even the fact that he was sitting here half drunk with another girl in his apartment. It was this. The sheer indifference. Like I didn't even matter. Like I was some clingy, overdramatic girlfriend making a scene for no reason. I swallowed hard. You know what? I said quietly. You win. Nick frowned. What, you win? I repeated. I'm done. And then, before he could say another word, I turned around and walked out the door. I didn't look back. I didn't cry on the way home. I thought I would. I should have. A breakup after 2 years, after that level of betrayal? That was supposed to hurt. It was supposed to feel like a knife in my chest, like the world had caved in, but all I felt was numb. I sat in my bed that night, staring at the ceiling, replaying everything in my head on a loop. The way Nick had looked at me annoyed, like I was overreacting, the way his friends had laughed, the way that girl had smirked, like I was some pathetic joke, like I had been the fool all along. It wasn't until Kara called the next morning that the emotions finally hit. You dumped him, right? She asked the second I answered. I swallowed, my throat raw. Yeah, good. Thing good. And just like that, the dam broke. I started crying, ugly, gasping sobs that I couldn't stop. Kara didn't say anything, just waited, let me get it out. When I finally calmed down, she spoke again, softer this time. I know it hurts, she said, but you did the right thing. I let out a shaky breath. Then why do I feel like shit? Because you loved him, she said simply, and because he's an asshole. I sniffled. Yeah, come over, she said. We'll eat ice cream and talk about him. I managed a small, watery laugh. I don't know, Kara. Now, before you start spiraling and text him. I winced. I wasn't going to text him. She paused. You did block him, right? I didn't answer. Babe, I groaned. I was going to. She made a noise of pure exasperation. Girl, do it now, before he gets the chance to gaslight you into forgiving him. She wasn't wrong. So with shaky hands, I opened my phone and did it. I blocked him on everything: texts, calls, Instagram, Snapchat, even freaking Venmo. Then before I could second guess myself, I deleted every picture of us from my phone. It felt like ripping off a Band-Aid. Painful, but necessary. When I got to Kara's apartment, she already had ice cream waiting, and wine, and an entire PowerPoint presentation titled Nick is Trash, a Case Study. This, she said dramatically, clicking to the first slide, is why you're better off. The first image was a blurry screenshot of Nick's old Tinder profile. I choked on my ice cream. Where did you even get that? She smirked. I have my ways. For the first time in 24 hours, I laughed. Like, really laughed. And just like that, the healing started. I wish I could say I moved on immediately. That I had some grand epiphany about self-worth and never thought about Nick again. But that would be a lie. The first few weeks were rough. Every time my phone buzzed, I'd get this stupid automatic hope, even though I knew he was blocked, even though I knew he didn't deserve a second of my time. I barely ate, barely slept. And the worst part? I kept wondering if I had imagined it. Like, maybe I had been overreacting. Maybe I should have stayed, should have fought harder. Maybe that girl in his apartment really was just a friend. It was embarrassing how much I still wanted to believe in him. But then the universe did me a favor. It gave me receipts. It happened on a random Tuesday. I was at work, minding my own business, when my phone lit up with a message from a number I didn't recognize. Unknown typed, "Hey, I know this is weird, but I think you should see this." Attached was a screenshot. I almost didn't open it, but when I did, I saw. It was a text exchange between Nick and Tyler. Tyler texted, "Yo, you coming out tonight?" Nick texted, "Nah, gotta do damage control first." She's still pissed. Tyler texted, "Lamau, why?" Nick texted, "IDK, she's dramatic. I thought she'd get over it, but she actually left. Now I gotta make her think I give a shit so she doesn't trash my name." My blood ran cold. I scrolled down. Tyler texted, "Damn. You gonna get back with her?" Nick texted. Hell no, but I'll play nice until I know she won't say anything. Don't need her running her mouth to other girls, LMAO. I stared at the screen, my vision blurring. I wanted to scream, cry, throw my phone across the room. Instead, I did the only thing that felt right. I screenshot it. And I sent it to everyone. I sent it to Kara, to Rachel, to every mutual friend we had. I made damn sure the universe knew exactly who Nick was. And then I sat back and watched the fallout. It wasn't long before the truth started spreading. I'll be honest, it felt good. The first message I got was from Rachel, Nick's so-called friend's girlfriend, and I could tell from the first word she sent that she was pissed. Rachel texted Mo. What the hell is this? I felt a sick sense of satisfaction flood through me as I typed my reply. Me. Thought you'd like to know. I guess Nick's not as loyal as he makes out, huh? It only took a few minutes before she was calling me, and I answered immediately. Okay, what the hell? She demanded, her voice sharp. Why would you send that to everyone? This isn't a high school drama thing. I didn't even blink. I didn't want to be the only one who knew what kind of guy he really is. Rachel was silent for a moment. I didn't know about this. Seriously, I didn't know. Nick told me everything was fine with you two. Well, clearly it wasn't, I shot back. Maybe you should ask him why he's been out here talking shit about you two. There was another long silence, and then, I'm sorry. For the first time since I'd sent those messages, I felt my anger slipped a bit. I didn't send it to hurt you, Rachel, I said quietly. I just needed to make sure I wasn't the only one who had this info. Rachel hesitated. I'll talk to him, but I think we both know what's going to happen. And I'm sorry, but I can't choose sides. I get it. I didn't have the energy to argue. Before I could hang up, Rachel muttered, just promise me you won't do anything stupid. Nick's going to blow up about this and he's going to try to make it look like you're the crazy one. Don't let him. I laughed bitterly. If he hasn't already, it's too late. And then I ended the call, feeling completely drained. For the next few days, things felt like a chaotic whirlwind. Nick was texting and calling nonstop, but I wasn't even entertaining the idea of listening to him. I knew exactly what he was going to say, apologies, excuses, promises he didn't plan to keep. His plan? Probably to act like everything had been a mistake and that I was overreacting again. Maybe he'd beg for forgiveness, say he was sorry, and act like I was the one causing all this drama. I'd heard it all before. But it didn't matter. My phone buzzed again. Nick said, we need to talk. Me, no, we don't. Nick said, come on, this is stupid. Me, the only thing that's stupid is you thinking I'm going to fall for your shit again. Nick said, you really want to do this? Me, do what? Expose you for the piece of shit you are? Nick said, that's low, even for you. At that point, I couldn't hold it in anymore. I was shaking, my palms sweating, but the words poured out of me before I could stop them. Me, you humiliated me, in front of your friends. You let them trash me, mock me, and then you have the nerve to sit here acting like I'm the problem? You were sleeping with someone else, and I was the crazy one? There was a long pause, and for a moment I thought he might actually get it. Then the next text came. Nick said, Vavan. It wasn't like that. My rage exploded. You've got to be kidding me, but I didn't respond. Instead, I blocked his number again. After that, I realized I needed to stop letting Nick's words have power over me. The truth was out there. My friends knew. His friends knew. Anyone who was still choosing to side with him after all this, they weren't worth my time. I didn't owe him anything. The real challenge, though, was what came next, getting back to normal. I could have gone the revenge route. I could have done something dramatic, showed up at his place, made a scene, or called him out to everyone. But something about that just felt pointless. Instead, I chose to do something that I knew would truly make a difference. I focused on myself. I started working out again, for the first time in months. I'd fallen off my routine, but now it was like my body craved the release of tension. The sweat, the exhaustion, the feeling of power when I pushed myself past what I thought I could do. It wasn't about looking good for anyone else. It was about me. I hung out with Kara more, went out with my friends. I lived again. I started paying attention to things I'd neglected, books I'd wanted to read, shows I'd wanted to watch, goals I'd put on the back burner because I was too busy being Nick's girlfriend. And slowly, little by little, the pain started to fade. That's not to say I didn't still think about him, because I did. The anger came and went, just like the heartbreak. But every day felt like I was coming closer to something that wasn't him. Then came the unexpected. I was at a party, one of those were all friends. Now things Kara had insisted I go to, and there he was. Nick? I didn't know how to explain it, but when I saw him across the room, something inside me clicked. It wasn't that I wanted him back. Not even close. But I had the most surreal moment of clarity. I didn't need his apology. I didn't need his approval. I didn't need him at all. I'd already moved on. I wasn't expecting to see him. Not here. Not now. It had been weeks since I last heard from Nick. The texts had slowed, then stopped. His friends had gone quiet too, probably realizing that defending him wasn't a good look. I had been healing, focusing on myself, and for the first time in a long time, I felt free. And yet there he was. Same stupid smirk, same confidence, like he still had some kind of hold over me. I should have ignored him. I should have turned around. found Kara, and let this night be what it was supposed to be fun. But Nick, he had other plans. I saw the moment he spotted me. His eyes locked onto mine, and for a split second, I thought he'd leave it alone. Of course, he didn't. He walked over, hands in his pockets, and leaned in like we were old friends. Hey, his voice was low, just loud enough for me to hear over the music. I sipped my drink, making him wait. What do you want? Nick tilted his head, studying me. You look good. I gave him a deadpan stare. Yeah, I am good. He smiled, but there was something forced about it. I've been meaning to reach out. I raised a brow. You mean before or after I found out you were trash? He exhaled through his nose like he was trying to be patient. Come on, don't be like that. Oh, how should I be? I asked sweetly. Should I pretend you didn't humiliate me in front of your friends? Or maybe I should just forget about you two-timing me? Nick sighed, rubbing the back of his neck. I messed up, all right? I get it. I gave him a slow, unimpressed blink. No, you don't get it. If you did, you wouldn't be standing here acting like an apology could fix everything. He shifted, suddenly less confident. I wanted to talk, to see how you were doing. I let out a sharp laugh. Oh, now you care? Nick hesitated. I never didn't care. That pissed me off. I stepped closer, just enough that he could hear me clearly. You didn't care, Nick. Not when you let your friends trash me. Not when you laughed along. Not when you invited some random girl over the same night I walked out on you. He looked down, jaw clenched. For the first time, he didn't have a comeback. Look, he muttered. I miss you. Something inside me cracked. Not in a way that hurt. Not in a way that made me second-guess myself. But in a way that made me realize that this was it. This was what I had needed to see. Nick wasn't some powerful figure in my life anymore. He wasn't a loss. He wasn't anything but a mistake I had outgrown. I smiled small, victorious. That sucks for you. Nick's eyes snapped to mine. Wait, come on. But I was already walking away, and damn, it felt good. After that night, something shifted. Nick didn't try to reach out again, not directly anyway, but I started hearing things, from friends, from mutuals. Nick was spiraling. The same guy who had treated me like I was replaceable, the one who had laughed as his friends mocked me? He was miserable. Kara was the first to tell me. You are not going to believe this, she said, shoving her phone in my face. It was a screenshot of Nick's Instagram story, a sad black and white post, some cringy quote about regret. I snorted. You're kidding. Oh, it gets better, she said, grinning. Word on the street? Has been complaining to everyone who'll listen about how he messed up the best thing he ever had. I blinked. He actually said that? Kara nodded. Yup, and guess who dumped his ass? That girl he was hanging out with the night you left. I burst out laughing. It was too good, too perfect. Nick, who thought he could do better. Nick, who acted like I was lucky to be with him. Now, he was the one suffering. And me, I was thriving. A month later, I met someone new. I wasn't looking for, it just happened. A friend of a friend. Someone kind, someone who actually listened when I spoke, who didn't make me feel like I was some background character in my own life. And, of course, because the universe has perfect timing, I ran into Nick again. At a different bar, on a different night. But this time, I wasn't alone. I was laughing, my hand casually resting on my new guy's arm, when I saw him. Nick was standing by the bar, drink in hand, watching me. He looked different. A little tired, a little older, and a whole lot regretful. I locked eyes with him for just a second, just long enough to let him see. See that I had moved on. See that he didn't matter. See that he had lost. Then I smiled and turned away. It happened about 3 months after that night at the bar. By then, my life had completely shifted. I was happy, genuinely happy. My new relationship was easy, no mind games, no second-guessing myself, no feeling like I had to prove my worth every second of the day. And then out of nowhere, Nick reappeared. Not in person, not at some party or bar, in my inbox. I saw his name pop up while I was scrolling through Instagram, and for a second I almost didn't believe it. But nope, there it was, a DM. Curiosity got the best of me. I clicked. Nick texted but, Hey, I know I'm probably the last person you want to hear from, but I just wanted to say I'm sorry. I stared at my screen, my expression completely blank. Oh, now you're sorry? I had half a mind to ignore him, to delete the message, block him again, pretend it never happened. But then I thought no. I wanted to see this, so I typed back, me? For what exactly? It took him a few minutes to reply. Nick texted, for everything, for how I treated you, for not realizing what I had until it was too late. I was a piece of shit and you deserved better. Damn right, I did. I leaned back, thinking, if he had sent this months ago, I probably would have melted. I would have thought, finally, he gets it, he regrets it, he still loved me. Now I just felt indifferent. So I gave him the simplest, most honest response I could. Me. Yeah, you were, but thanks for the apology. No anger, no dramatics, no I hope you suffer, just the truth. Nick must have been expecting something else because he replied almost immediately. Nick texted, That's it? Me, what else do you want? A gold star? I don't know what he was looking for, maybe closure, maybe a second chance. But I wasn't going to give him either. He had already taken up way too much of my life. So I left him on read. And let me tell you, nothing is more powerful than silence. That was the last time I ever spoke to Nick.